Hello, everyone. I'm Ian Nicholas, joined by the rest of the NCTV crew tonight for a great game between the new Canaan Rams, who are 6-8 after a 5-2 start, and the St. Joseph Cadets, who are 11-4, one of the FCX better teams. Tonight, alongside me is my usual producer, do-it-all man, Cortland Parrott, has joined me on the mic. And Cortland, this is a big game, FCX standing-wise, for both teams, especially for St. Joe's if they want to lock up a spot.
Yeah, so right now St. Joe's is tied for 6th with Greenwich and Redfield at 7-4 in the FCX playoff race. This is a big game for the Cadets if they want to secure a spot in the FCX playoffs.
And meanwhile, for New Canaan, it's just as important. At 6-8, their playoff hopes FCX-wise are not too great. They are 4-7 in the FCX and competing with Wilton, Darien, and both Fairfield-Ludlow and Fairfield-Ward down the stretch. All those teams are 1 to 2 games behind for the 6th seed in FCX. They did not make FCX last year with a 7-13 record, although they did go to states where they lost to Trumbull, a team that they beat just a week ago. Trumbull 11-3 this season, and it's their only win in their last 7 games, Cortland. So how big is that win, going up against another powerhouse team like St. Joe's? Does that give a team confidence?
That does give a team confidence, give each individual player confidence, and I think Coach Winchester tonight will build off that confidence as St. Joe's is up there in the rankings, and I think New Canaan's going to come out and give St. Joe's a run for their money.
And we'll be right back after starting lineups in the national anthem.
Christen Rodriguez. Head coach of the Cadets is Christen Rodriguez. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get the starting lineup for the Canaan Rams. Number 21, Quinn McKiernan.
St. Joe's 11-4.
Number 22, Catherine Lesecki. Number 14, Carney McKiernan. Number 33, Jane Charlton. And number 5 is Rihanna Shaw. Head coach of the Rams is John Winchester. Before we begin, may I have your attention, please? The Canaan High School and the FCX promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and fans. We request your cooperation in supporting the student athletes and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, derogatory comments, or other intimidating actions directed at athletes, officials, team representatives, or other fans will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the gym. Canaan High School has many traditions, but bad sportsmanship is not one of them. Appreciate your cooperation in creating a safe and positive game environment. Now, ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner?
And the starting lineups just announced for both teams. New Canaan usually doesn't have Katie Dunn starting. The senior guard is the 6th man on this team, but bad news, she's out tonight sick. So that is a big loss for them off the bench. She can handle the ball and play off ball. So starting tonight will be Rihanna Afshar, Captain Lasecki, Quinn McKiernan, her older sister, and Captain Carney McKiernan, and another captain, Jane Charlton. McKiernan and Charlton, the two bigs on the team. Meanwhile, for St. Joe's, you got Veronica Lubis, Captain Rudini, Erica Stevens, Captain Ramia Johnston, and Christen Rodriguez are the starters. Meanwhile, McKenna Hedman, another senior captain, 5'7" forward, will come off the bench. At the tip is Jane Charlton, the captain, number 33 for New Canaan. And for St. Joe's, number 12, sophomore Erica Stevens, the lone sophomore in the lineup for either teams tonight.
Yeah, my impact player for tonight, Ian, is Rihanna Afshar for New Canaan. She needs to control the ball, control the pace of this game to keep St. Joe's down on the scoring.
Definitely. The senior captain's had her moments, but can she put together a really complete game in this one? St. Joe's getting it down low, nearly losing it. Driving to the lane and drawing the foul is Captain Ramia Johnson, the 5'8" guard, will head to the line after a foul on New Canaan. That's going to be on the junior, Quinn McKiernan. And Coach John Winchester has changed the lineups a lot over the last few weeks because there's been a lot of sickness floating around the school and for the girls' basketball team. So for the first time in a long time, both McKiernan sisters will be starting tonight. The senior captain, Carney McKiernan, at the 5, and Quinn McKiernan, one of the Rams' best scorers, at the 3. So that would be interesting to see how those two play together. Usually Quinn McKiernan starts, and Carney comes off the bench. But tonight, they're both in the starting lineup.
Ramia Jones just made 1 of 2 free throws. She had 12 points in the last game in the St. Joseph's win, 54-27 against Brian McMahon.
Charlton finding a wide open Carney McKiernan, and she banks it in very smooth, wide open on the mid-range shot. The assist from Jane Charlton. Senior to senior connection puts New Canaan up early, 2-1. Here's Johnston getting it to Rudini. Trapped there was Lubis. Getting it down low to Rodriguez, who shoots her own mid-range shot. No dice. Out of bounds, though. And a good effort there from Erica Stevens, the sophomore for St. Joe's, will keep it in St. Joe's possession.
You see St. Joe's moving the ball around a lot, trying to test that tough Rams defense that Coach Winchester has been preaching all season.
The Rams, when they win with defense. But can they do that tonight against one of the FCX best teams in St. Joe's? Turnaround shot from Rodriguez is no good. Her second miss on that end. Getting it to McKiernan, and Carney will not finish through traffic. New Canaan fighting for the rebound. Rihanna Afshar for 3, no good. Captain Lasecki provided the opportunity on the board. Here's St. Joe's the other way. Getting it down low and kicking it right back out to Captain Johnston. Pass for Rodriguez with a dribble, no good. Quinn McKiernan, good defense, gets the rebound and leads the break for New Canaan before slowing it down.
Interesting matchups to watch is number 3, Christen Rodriguez for St. Joe's, working down inside against Charlton.
And Rodriguez has already missed 3 shots from the field for St. Joe's, so she has not found her rhythm early. Rihanna Afshar resets at the logo for New Canaan. Gets the screen from Carney McKiernan. Getting it to Quinn. Spinning around, and good half-court set here defensively from St. Joe's. Really nothing developing. Charlton finally moves up and nearly loses it for a moment. No shot clock, so they can take as much time as they need. Captain Lasecki goes up with it after the Carney McKiernan miss and draws the foul on sophomore Captain Rudini. New Canaan heads to the line for the first time tonight.
Interesting lineup choice for Coach John Winchester. He's going with 4 seniors and a junior right now. None of the sophomores or freshmen on the team really getting the chance to start.
And it's an interesting, because at the start of the year, we saw a lot of interesting moves from Winchester when it talked about youth at the varsity level. Natalie Plosker, a freshman, started the first few games of the year. And Megan Driscoll, who will get a lot of playing time tonight, a sophomore, played a lot off the bench. Both the Rams losing 6 of their last 7 games, Cortland. It looks like they're going to a more veteran lineup to try to win some key FCX games down the stretch.
Yeah, both Rihanna Afshar and Charlton played valuable minutes last year for Rams, so it's interesting how that skill and veteran leadership will come in.
Definitely both of those players, Afshar and Charlton, started last year for the team as juniors. Charlton's had a great year for him. She'll head to Duke to play lacrosse next year, and Rihanna Afshar has had an up-and-down season, but a lot of great games from her, one of the Rams' best scorers. And the Rams have already qualified for the state tournament. It's crazy to think it's harder to make FCACs than it is for states. The Rams made it last year with 7 wins. They already have 6 this season with 3 weeks left to go in a year. Charlton looking for the pass. She gets it to Carney McKiernan, working on Rodriguez. Finally finding Katin Lasecki, who can shoot, but she just passes it off to Rihanna Afshar. With just over 5 minutes left to go in quarter number 1, Afshar nearly loses it. St. Joe's playing sturdy defense right now, nothing developing. Until Charlton makes it develop down low with a nice little floater in the paint.
Charleston's very good inside the paint, going through contact and going up for the easy bucket.
New Canaan's lead somewhat surprising right now. They're up 5 points, and they've only won 1 of their last 7 games. That was against Trumbull, the crosstown rival of St. Joe's, so who knows? Maybe New Canaan just has Trumbull's number.
So far, this game has been physical, bodies flying everywhere, as you see Rihanna Afshar dive for that ball on the floor.
Well, that's just New Canaan basketball for you. Checking into the game, number 10, Kaylee Carson for the Cadets, and checking out is the sophomore, Christen Rodriguez. New Canaan keeps their 5 on the floor.
Coach Winchester loves players that hustle. He loves players that do their fundamentals correctly, dribbling, passing, and hustling after loose balls.
You would know that. He used to coach you at the youth level, Cortland.
He did indeed. He's a very good coach to learn from, and as he has much experience across many professional and collegiate levels.
Charlton open for the mid-range jumper. She pump fakes and tries to get it off the glass. No good. And Quinn McKiernan loses it on the rebound. Working it up the floor here is Lubis. And right back to Captain Johnston, who got the steal, but it's going to head the other way off of St. Joe's. New Canaan ball. Just over halfway through the first quarter, New Canaan with a 6-1 lead over the Cadets. A bit surprising, but in the Rams in a much needed win have come out strong. Here's Afshar working on Lubis. Gets it to Carney McKiernan. Fakes. Getting it in the corner. And working it around the arc here. Afshar calls a new play. Lubis is really giving her no ground. Charlton just buries her head and can't finish. An awkward release on that one.
For the first few minutes of the game, you can see the Rams are really running their offense through Jane Charlton. They're running a 1-4 forward down low against this tough St. Joe's defense. So it's interesting to see if St. Joe's can stop Charlton's attack.
Open 3 ball is nothing but net from Ramia Johnston. The first triple of the game for either team, and the first field goal made for St. Joe's is a big one, pulling it back to within 2. And talking about running an offense through, Johnston has been the #1 option for St. Joe's so far. Quinn McKiernan, wide open opportunity at the lane, and she will finish as it bounces into the rim. McKiernan has a couple of big scoring nights here or there, and it looks like she could be in store for another big one tonight. Charlton goes for the ball, almost takes down one of the St. Joe's players with her, and here's Rihanna Afshar on the break, working it to Carney McKiernan. And Carney McKiernan can't make it. And then Rodriguez that gets the swat on Rihanna Afshar.
That transition offense for them will be pinnacle in the Rams' success tonight. As, like I said before, great defense leads to good offense.
But that time it was St. Joe's great defense that made the big plays, stopping New Canaan twice. And it will head the other way. It's going to be a foul on Christen Rodriguez. That's her first. 2:26 left to go. A low-scoring game. That's how New Canaan would like to keep it. Just 12 combined points by both teams, but a 4-point New Canaan lead to show for it. Rodriguez gets the steal, working it up, setting herself up for an open 3, but she drives instead and falls to the floor after a tough hit from Carney McKiernan. She'll head to the line for her second time tonight. Good drive there.
Yeah, she went through contact, just put up a shot, tried to draw contact. Sometimes in that situation, you want to draw contact, just get to the free throw line and get to the charity stripe.
5'6" senior guard Elizabeth Adzima is also now in the game for St. Joe's. And meanwhile, in a moment, checking in for the Rams is number 35, senior Liz DiMarino, the center. And one of the Rams' best shooters, number 24, Megan Driscoll. Checking out is Carney McKiernan, as well as Captain Lasecki. Lasecki's been a great player off the bench for New Canaan over these last 2 years, but she's gotten more of a role with the injuries, or the sickness to Katie Dunn, I should say. And she stepped up.
And what do you think that sickness to Katie Dunn, the Rams' sixth woman, I should say, what effect will that have from the players coming off the bench?
Well, Katie Dunn, really, she's pretty athletic. She can play both guard spots. Reminds me a lot of Aaron Fishman for the boys team. Just gives them a lot of flexibility lineup-wise. Afshar's going to have to play a lot tonight, and she's going to have to play well as the really sole leader point guard-wise for New Canaan. They get it down low to Charlton. Afshar drives, and they're going to call her for the travel. She took one too many steps there after she got the ball from Charlton at the top of the key.
Something to watch is Megan Driscoll off the bench. She can hit the three if she's open. The Rams just need to work the ball around, get her in those open shots.
Also now in the game for St. Joe's is senior captain McKenna Hedman for the first time tonight. Driving to the lane, Erica Stevens can't get it to go on a lay-in. And here's Megan Driscoll, who will probably play more tonight at the point because of Katie Dunn's sickness. Getting it to Rihanna Afshar. A double screen from New Canaan. Sets up Megan Driscoll with a St. Joe's player right in her face. She splashes home the three. New Canaan's first three ball of the night is a phenomenal shot from the sophomore. And it's going to be a travel on St. Joe's. It's heading back the other way as New Canaan has recaptured the momentum in a 5-point lead. Liz DiMarino to inbound. Working her way across the logo. Getting it to Charlton. Here's Liz DiMarino. Pull-up shot from just outside the paint is no good. But Quinn McKiernan hustles for the rebound. Drives baseline. Dishes it to DiMarino. Now to Driscoll for another three. No good. She's 1 for 2 now from beyond the arc this quarter with 38 seconds left to go. Driving it baseline. Putting the shot up, and it's blocked by New Canaan. That miss from Adzima for St. Joe's.
You see DiMarino and Charlton kind of overseeing the paint, stopping St. Joe's from getting those easy baskets in and around the basket.
Charlton gets the screen for Afshar. Quinn McKiernan can shoot it, but she's locked up in the corner there. Charlton getting it to DiMarino for the jump shot, and she airballs it with 10.3 seconds left to go in the first. Yeah, Liz DiMarino plays really well but alongside Jane Charlton. They've given Carney McKiernan more of a starting look as of late, though. And they're going to roll the ball to preserve some time here. 8 seconds and counting for St. Joe's. They'll get the last shot of the quarter.
The 6-foot DiMarino is the tallest in the court. Let's see how she plays against in the paint.
Johnston just chucks it up from the charity stripe, and she can't get it to go. And head coach John Winchester and the rest of his New Canaan team has to be nothing but excited for how they played in the first quarter, Cortland. A 5-point lead over an 11-4 St. Joe's team in a must-win game for New Canaan. This is big.
Yeah, St. Joe's has only lost 4 times in FCX play to Darien, Norwalk, Danbury, and Stanford. Norwalk, Danbury, and Stanford came in a tough stretch for them as they lost 3 games by 19, 13, and 3. That Stanford game, which they lost by 3 points, was really tough. Stanford really gave them a tough competition, and St. Joe's kind of came back and almost pulled it off.
And meanwhile, this season for New Canaan's really been a tale of 2 halves. First half of the year, they started 5-2, rounded off by a great win up against Greenwich last month, 37-33. But ever since, they've lost 6 of the last 7 games, including road losses against Danbury and Richfield, 2 of the FCAC's best teams. Also losing to Wilton, Stamford, and Fairfield Ludlow. They've had a rough schedule, and you can't really blame them for how they've performed. But at the same time, they're getting a really good start tonight. Question is can they keep it and get closer to 500 yet again?
So in the first quarter, Ian, you saw the Rams going through Charlton on almost every offensive play. What do you think Coach Lindwall, my apologies, did in that quarter to try to stop Charlton?
Well, I think they're going to double her a lot more. As you mentioned, Cortland, really, St. Joe's doesn't have a player over 6 foot, so it's going to be a tough guard to guard Charlton. Afshar puts up the floater, no good. She gets her own miss on the rebound. Charlton goes up with it, and she gets fouled, this time by Erica Stevens. They put 2 people on her, and that's what happened. She'll just head to the free throw line.
Again, Charlton going through contact, trying to get to the basket, get either a basket or get to the foul line.
Well, that's actually going to be a personal foul. So it'll be Rihanna Afshar to inbound instead of Jane Charlton free throws. Looking for Megan Driscoll. She can't find her, but she avoids the 5-second violation. Gets it into Jane Charlton, but that's a bad miss. Good defense down low, though, from Christen Rodriguez. Rodriguez puts the shot up, and now she's 0 for 4 from the field. Missing that rebounded step was Emily Haverl. Good break up there from Quinn McKiernan to secure the board for New Canaan. Afshar slows it down. Gets it to Megan Driscoll for the 3, and no good. But a second chance after the Jane Charlton rebound. She puts up the jumper, and it clanks away from the rim. Working it up to Haverly, and getting the steal is Megan Driscoll. And then Emily Haverly will be called for the foul. She just checked in for St. Joe's, and she's already turned it over and committed a foul. So not a great start for the junior 5'5" guard.
Here we see Charlton finally check out for the first time all game. Let's see how the Rams offense returns.
Buchanan's offense has been here or there, not really consistent so far, but a 5-point lead is all they could really ask for. Defensively, though, they're really holding the fort down. Liz DiMarino, good screen, but great block from Christen Rodriguez, the sophomore center. Beautiful play there.
Yeah, neither team has shot well from deep. Only 1 or 2 made threes between them. The paint has been the real battle here. We'll see who wins the real battle.
Afshar inbounds to Quinn McKiernan. 6:45 left in quarter number 2. And it's the same score as it was at the end of the first. McKiernan's pivoting, finally drops it in the bucket for Rihanna Afshar. And a smart move from John Winchester as he barks for a timeout, and he gets it as New Canaan was in a tough spot there, nearly turning it over, Cortland.
Yeah, that was a tough spot. He was not too happy with that. It looks like the Rams just lost communication between each other, kind of piling up at the top of the key. And McKiernan and Rihanna kind of had to work together, try to get that ball out of there.
And Coach Winchester's squad has had its fair share of up and downs in his 3-year tenure here at New Canaan High. But for a program that hasn't won a lot as of late, he's done a pretty good job with this team. Just 4-16 in the first year here, but a 7-14 season last year, which included a trip to the state playoffs. And this season, through 14 games, they've already won 6 of them. They've already secured a playoff spot, still in the running for an FCAC spot. Still getting better and better under the former Tennessee and Quinnipiac High School Parade All-American.
Yeah, Coach John Winchester, he played himself. He knows the game. He knows different aspects that players go through. Some coaches, they haven't played much. They just coach. So there's some things that they don't quite understand that basketball players do.
There's just a relatability factor there that Winchester has. Working it up the court is St. Joe's and nearly turning it over, but a foul is going to be called on New Canaan's Liz DiMarino, if I'm not mistaken. And I am not mistaken. It is the first for the senior center. Checking out for the first time tonight will be Rihanna Afshar. You rarely see her check out of a game for New Canaan. She usually plays all 32 minutes, but it's going to be Natalie Plosker, the star freshman, who checks in for the first time tonight. Driving, St. Joe's pull-up. Mid-range shot is absolute cash from Captain Rudini, the sophomore guard, with pure confidence on that shot for St. Joe's. Here's Plosker at the point, spinning and losing it before Liz DiMarino gets it and loses it herself. 1-on-2 break for St. Joe's, and an and-one bucket is the result. It's Erica Stevens, the sophomore guard, with the highlight play.
That was just great defense. She poked the ball away, went and got it, then hustled to the basket, and with 2 trailing Rams, 1 had to foul. And she was able to go through contact and make the bucket.
And a short-lived break for Rihanna Afshar. She checks right back into the game with St. Joe's now only down 1 point. Sophomore Megan Driscoll is out. New Canaan's going to lose that rebound, and Coach Winchester's got to be disappointed at that one as the ball rolled out of bounds right in front of him. Quinn McKiernan and Liz DiMarino, neither of them could control that one off the free throw miss for the Cadets. Working it down low, and another foul on New Canaan's Liz DiMarino. Christen Rodriguez, who struggled from the field tonight, will head to the free throw line. Liz DiMarino in early foul trouble, to say the least. She's already got 3 fouls, which means that Jane Charlton and Carney McKiernan are going to need to pick up the slack in this one and play a lot more minutes than expected. Rodriguez, first free throw is good. And for the first time in a while, it's a tie ball game at 11 points apiece. New Canaan hasn't scored a point all quarter. Meanwhile, St. Joe's is on a 5-0 run to start off quarter number 2. Rodriguez, a confident player, even though she's missed a lot of shots. She's played well defensively. She's got a couple blocks. 1 for 2 from the line there, and Jane Charlton gets the rebound for New Canaan. Rihanna Afshar back in the game. Gets it to Quinn McKiernan. Wide open lane. Puts up the floater. Puts it in to give New Canaan the lead right back. 5'9" junior has been a big player as a starter for the Rams in each of the last 2 seasons. Rodriguez shot misses down low. St. Joe's gets another opportunity, and they're going to call a travel on Veronica Lubis, the 5'6" senior guard for St. Joe's, committing the crime and turning the ball over. Afshar gets the screen from her fellow guard, Natalie Plosker. Then kicking it to Quinn McKiernan. McKiernan, really nice shot. And working it up here off the miss is Stevens. Swinging it, beautiful pass, open 3, and it splashes in for Christen Rodriguez. Her second bucket of the quarter. After that and 1 bucket earlier, she splashes that one in. Quinn McKiernan's open for her own look from 3. And these teams are exchanging blows from beyond the arc.
They must have heard me when I said they were struggling from deep, because that's back-to-back threes from them. Bang, bang.
Couldn't put it much better, Cortland. Getting it down low, but it's going to be another travel on St. Joe's. Second travel in the last 3 possessions, as head coach Chris Lindwall can't be happy with that one for his St. Joe's squad.
You can see both coaches animated, pacing up and down the sideline. They're really into this game, wanting their team to win, as New Canaan wants to knock off St. Joe's and help their chances getting into the FCIAC playoff.
That's going to be a foul on the floor. Not a foul on the floor. It's going to be a foul on St. Joe's, a push. Actually, my mistake, it's going to be a foul on Jane Charlton as she hits the bench.
Wow.
And bad news for head coach John Winchester. Both of his bigs, I should say, are already in foul trouble. Jane Charlton's got 2, Liz DiMarino's got 3. Carney McKiernan checks into the game, and St. Joe's, with 4:24 left in the second quarter, is already in the bonus. Missing that free throw on the 1-and-1 is Emily Haverl. Good move there from Quinn McKiernan, working it up across midcourt. Afshar stuttering, dancing, losing it, fighting for that one. And it's won by no one as it's out of bounds and heading right back in New Canaan possession. Good breakup from Veronica Lubis, but she could not get the ball and get the steal.
Lubis is giving Rihanna Afshar no space to operate, no space just to wait for plays to sit up. She is attacking her as soon as she steps over the half line.
It's actually going to be a foul on Rihanna Afshar. She was pushing her, shoving her way to try to get the ball back. So it's not a steal, but it is a free throw opportunity here for Lubis.
Lubis, the 5'6" senior, she's really, really pushing the Rams defense faster than they really want it to be.
And the ref discussing what the foul was there. a lot of foul trouble for both these teams, but especially New Canaan, I should say. They've gotten a little bit feisty in the second quarter.
As we see some fans in the crowd getting warned. Here in the FCAC and across the CIAC, we like sportsmanship. It's said before every game. Bill always makes sure every team and the fans know that New Canaan here and the rest of the FCAC is a nice sportsman-friendly place.
By Bill, Cortland means our wonderful PA announcer, Bill Brown, who does PA for both the girls and guys teams. And even though the student section isn't too big on a Monday night after the Super Bowl, they're getting a little chirpy. First free throw is good. Second one is good, and it's back to a tie game with 16 points apiece.
4 minutes remaining. It will be interesting who closes the half out well and who falls apart here in the final minutes.
Well, it was St. Joe's who has controlled the tempo for most of his second quarter, erasing an early 6-point New Canaan lead. Natalie Plosker loses it out of bounds, but they're going to say that was because of a Ramia Johnston foul on St. Joe's. So the freshman will head to the line for New Canaan. And I met Natalie over the summer working at the New Canaan Nature Center, and she said she wanted to make an impact on varsity her first year. And to be honest, I wasn't sure what she was going to bring to the table, but she started in game 1 for the Rams, and even though her role has slowly declined as the year's gone on, she's a really talented player, and this New Canaan team raves about her abilities, especially on the practice court, and she will eventually translate that into great play on the court for the Rams.
As we see Lubis's second free throw there, she just casually walked up there and knocked down both of them.
Plosker makes the second free throw after missing the first. So New Canaan has a 1-point lead with just under 4 minutes left to go in the quarter. Driving, pull-up jumper, nowhere close is Rudini. Lasecki is back in the game for New Canaan. She gets it to Quinn McKiernan. McKiernan gets it to Afshar. Afshar puts up the floater, and it's no good. Johnston gets the board for St. Joe's.
Lubis out in trenches, and let's see what she does here.
She gets doubled by Rihanna Afshar and Quinn McKiernan before dishing it down low. Rudini gets it to Rodriguez. Rodriguez with the hook shot, no good. And Carney McKiernan's fighting for it with Rodriguez. And they're going to give the ball to New Canaan for the senior captain's effort.
Rodriguez does not like that call, but it was clear she was all over Kearney McKiernan.
St. Joe's foul number 23, Christen Rodriguez, her second and the team's 7th.
And that's the 7th team foul on St. Joe's. So Carney McKiernan will head to the line as both teams are in the bonus. Elizabeth Zima checks in, I should say, and Becca Curie checks in for the first time tonight for St. Joe's.
As we see Carney McKiernan, 5'9" senior on the line. Both McKiernans have played a pivotal role in the Rams' success this season, so let's see how they do closing out this half.
Well, she does a good job there, Carney does, to get the Rams a 2-point lead, and she could make it a 3-point lead. And when I talked to Coach Winchester at the beginning of the year, he mentioned that Carney McKiernan was the team's most improved player over the summer. She didn't play a lot last year as a junior, played a little bit off the bench, but this year, a starter in the middle of the year and a senior captain. And obviously her sister Quinn McKiernan is one of the Rams' more explosive scorers. A 3-point lead as Carney nails both shots from the line. Step back jumper from Erica Stevens is no good. The ball is loose, and St. Joe's regains possession. Megan Driscoll will check in for New Canaan in a moment. Here's Captain Rudini with the ball for St. Joe's. Contested mid-range jumper is money from Erica Stevens. She has had one heck of a quarter for St. Joe's. She's up to 8 points in the quarter alone. Here's Natalie Plosker, jabbing, getting it to Carney McKiernan, moving off ball and finally getting it and clanking the side of the backboard on that miss. It's Captain Lasecki, the senior. Just a 1-point game. New Canaan still in the driver's seat, but not by much. Slipping on that one was Becca Curie, and they're going to call a foul on New Canaan. An off-ball foul on Carney McKiernan. And now all 3 of New Canaan's senior bigs are in foul trouble. All of them have 2 or more. And she's going to check out. And checking in is number 31, freshman Lucia Cravato. So the Rams now went from no freshmen really in their rotation to 2 freshmen on the court. Lucia Cravado starts for the Rams on JV, and she's a solid young player for him, but not expected to get playing time this early in the game. Megan Driscoll is 1 for 3 on triples, and she gives it up here to Rihanna Afshar, who slows it down for New Canaan. Here's Cravado in the corner, getting the ball for the first time tonight, trying to get a play set up for Lasecki, and instead it's intercepted by St. Joe's, and missing the open layup was Ramia Johnston. I believe it will stay in St. Joe's possession, and it will. But both teams are in the bonus, so any foul that happens in the next minute 53 will be heading to the free throw line. So here is Becca Carey looking to get her first point of the night.
Carey's back to the free throw line again after another Rams foul. They have 10 team fouls on the half. It'll be interesting to see how that plays a factor in these final minutes.
Tie ball game, 19 points apiece as Carey splashes in her first free throw. Looking to get one more and get St. Joe's the lead back for the first time since they were up 1-0 after a free throw early in the game. Lucia Cravado gets the miss. It's still a tied game at 19 points apiece. Rihanna Afshar with it here. Gets it to Quinn McKiernan. Lucia Cravado falls. A little bit of too much momentum there. Lasecki gets it to Afshar. Afshar to Driscoll. It's out of bounds and heading the other way, much to the delight of head coach Chris Lindwell for St. Joe's.
It's interesting to see how Rodriguez is out as well as Charlton, to see how the offenses have changed from the paint to more outside perimeter, working the ball around, and how defense has played more of a factor.
And New Canaan rolling with a big small ball lineup here, which is kind of an ironic way of putting it. But with their bigs in foul trouble, they've been forced to do that, Cortland.
Yes, they have. Foul trouble again, pivotal for the Rams and the Cadets, as New Canaan's at 10 team fouls and St. Joe's has 7.
Erica Stevens, who's been red hot this quarter for St. Joe's, misses the fadeaway shot from the paint. Megan Driscoll looks to get the 3 to go, but she's now just 1 of 4 from beyond the arc tonight. And another foul on New Canaan is going to bring St. Joe's back to the line. Well over 10 team fouls for New Canaan this first half, and head coach John Winchester is going to have a few words to say about that in the locker room at halftime. But outside of that, New Canaan's had a really good first half, Cortland. What have you seen that has shocked you so far as New Canaan's been able to compete with St. Joe's in this game?
New Canaan came out hot. They built up a lead of 5 points, 11-6, and they've really kind of shocked St. Joe's. As you see a replay of the foul here, she just rips the ball away and gets tangled up with all the players. But New Canaan has come out hot, and they kind of cooled off around halftime. It'll be interesting to see. There's been past games where New Canaan has done a great in the first half of building lead, holding teams to minimal points, and then the second half, the lead kind of diminishing. A great example of this is the Greenwich game, which we covered a few weeks ago. Greenwich was down, I think, 25 points at halftime. The Rams ended up holding them off and winning by a few points, but it was still quite a scare to the team.
That Greenwich game and also the Trumbull win afterward last Friday really shows you the potential this New Canaan team has. Still inexperienced in some ways, but getting wins against FCAC powerhouses is obviously a good feeling. Rihanna Afshar gets to the lane and misses.
Another foul on the floor. That's going to end up in some free throw shots for the Rams.
These are 2 critical free throws as New Canaan trails for the first time in a long time. They're down 2 points with 37.2 seconds left on the clock. Megan Driscoll will head to the line for NC. As St. Joe's is now up to 18 fouls.
The 5'6" sophomore has played pivotal minutes in this game, but she makes a costly mistake there. She steps over the line.
Lane violation. It will head the other way. And then for anyone wondering, for the boys' game against St. Joe's on the road, St. Joseph's is up in that game 37-31 over the Rams. A big game tonight for both teams. Driving and finishing, excellent bucket for Ramia Johnston, who's had a great game for St. Joe's, extending the lead up to 4. And with 18 seconds left in a half, this is most likely going to be the last shot for either team. looking to finish with some momentum after a dominant quarter from St. Joe's. Lucia Cravado nearly loses it, and she's going to get called for the travel. The freshman makes a mental lapse there, driving to the rim and looking to kick it out to a teammate. She took a couple extra steps.
7.2 seconds left in. Do you think St. Joe's is just going to heave it and pray, or do you think they're going to try to get something done quickly?
I think they have time to get somewhat of a shot. They could get to the lane. Carson will, and she gets it to go. Excellent bucket there as she hits the deck. No foul, no problem. She finishes an excellent quarter. After being down 11-6 at the end of the first, it was a 19-8 run in the second quarter that has St. Joe's up 6, a solid lead in all the momentum. Cortland, how did the momentum change so quickly? Really, for a good chunk of that quarter, it was a back and forth, and then over the final 2 minutes, St. Joe's really just took control.
Yeah, St. Joe's really turned on the defense. Early, the Rams were easily able to get stuff going, but as players like Charleston and Rihanna Ashfar checked out, you saw them check right back in as the Rams kind of struggled offensively and kind of on defense too. As you know, St. Joe's got easy turnovers, which led to easy baskets, and Coach Winchester just didn't trust the younger players to pull off what Charleston and Rihanna did.
Well, New Canaan trails 6 at the half, 25-19. We'll be back in roughly 8 minutes for the second half. I'm Ian Nicholas, joined by Cortland Parrott and the rest of the NCTV crew. We'll see you then. Hello, everyone. I'm Ian Nicholas, joined by Cortland Parrott and the rest of the NCTV crew live from the New Canaan High School Gym, where the 6-8 New Canaan Rams are only down 6 points to the 11-4 St. Joe's Cadets. The leading scorer for the Rams is Quinn McKiernan. The junior forward's got 7 points. Meanwhile, for the Cadets, it's Captain Ramia Johnston with a solid 8 points. She's been a force down low for them, Cortland.
As we look at some replays, one pivotal thing during the first half was defense. Defense. The Rams kind of came out hot, stopping the St. Joe's offense, but St. Joe's responded after an 11-6 lead from the Rams, and they kind of shut down everyone. There was a lot of free throws in this, I think it was 18 combined fouls between the two teams in the first half, and that was something that really helped and hurt each team get some points up on the board.
Yeah, a big storyline for the second half, Cortland, is going to be the bigs for New Canaan in foul trouble. Each of them have 2 or more. Liston Marino's got 3, and Carney McKiernan and Jane Charlton each have 2 apiece. We saw Lucia Curvado play a lot in that first half. The freshman doesn't play a whole lot, but she's a talented young player to be playing on varsity as a freshman. How do you think the fouls are going to affect Winchester's plan in the second half?
The fouls, they have to be very conservative. I think in halftime, Winchester called out each player and said, you have to play more conservative. We need you in the final minutes of the game when it gets back. And really, as we are just getting underway, you see the Rams go back with their starting lineup with Charlton and both McKierney's in, as well as Lasecki and Afshar.
The veteran-heavy lineup for New Canaan did wonders in the first quarter, and it does wonders early on in the third. Jane Charlton with the steal, Captain Lasecki with the ball. And Rihanna Afshar resetting at the top of the logo. She's played pretty much the entirety of this game, which is usually the trend for the senior starter. Kearney McKiernan finds Jane Charlton.
At the end of the first half, we saw Veronica Lubis for St. Joe's, #1, put a lot of pressure on Afshar. Let's see if she picks it back up.
Afshar had a bucket here or there in the first half, and she gets a bucket off the right-handed finish there to pull New Canaan to within 4 points. St. Joe's working it around, a behind-the-back move, shucking it up for Rodriguez, and it's picked off by Quinn McKiernan. McKiernan, the Rams' leading scorer on the other end, stops on a dime, but a little too well. That's a travel, and Coach Winchester seems to be in physical pain right now after that mistake there from Quinn McKiernan.
You see him shaking his head, kneeling down, just trying to get composure instead of freaking out and maybe costing his team a technical.
Coach Winchester always knows when to reel it in emotionally, but he's willing to put on a show to get his players back in line. And St. Joe's is going to get called for a travel of their own, so they're heading the other way. Both teams coming out slow mentally to start this quarter. Here's Afshar working it up.
Lubis is dropping back on Afshar, giving her space to operate, which kind of opens up the Rams' offense here.
Charlton looking for a shot. Instead, she finds Quinn McKiernan. She drives, gets it to Charlton, and misses. Rebound there from Stevens. Stevens looking to go all the way. Beautiful move. Finally finding Rodriguez, who snatches it out of the air before Captain Lasecki snatches it. Brianna Afshar spun around on the fast break, so that's going to be a foul on Ramia Johnston, the Cadets' leading scorer. She'll head to the line for 2. That's Johnston's second foul of the game. And it looks like head coach Chris Lindwall and the rest of his team is going to call a timeout, St. Joe's that is. That's the first timeout taken, I believe, by either team in this game.
Yeah, you saw the defense play a pivotal role in the last possession. Lasecki swatted it away from Rodriguez and kind of kicked it out to Rihanna and ended up in 2 free foul shots.
And even though they still have a 4-point lead, a smart move there from Coach Winwall and St. Joe's to slow it down. They came out a bit slow to start the half. They don't want to get back in a hole like they were at the end of the first quarter.
The Rams have cut the lead down to 4 already in the half. And they want to keep their pedal on the metal, try to keep up with the St. Joe's Cadets.
Both New Canaan and St. Joe's are in the FCAC East Division for basketball, and as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, this is a big game for both teams when you talk about FCAC standings. In the East Division, they're tied with Richfield, St. Joe's that is, as well as Greenwich in the West Division at 7-4 in FCIAC play, which means that they're tied for the 6th seed in those rankings. Meanwhile, New Canaan is currently second to last in the East Division at 4-7 ahead of Trinity Catholic, but that record shouldn't be as discouraging as they're all within one game of Wilton, Darien, Ludlow, and Ward. So a win tonight would be big, but they're still down 3 points after that Rihanna Afshar make from the line.
Just to give our fans a reminder, you mentioned it before we closed out the half, St. Joe's is beating New Canaan boys for boys basketball 37-31. Wonderful Terry Dinan just gave us that over on Twitter.
There's a foul there on the floor, a personal one for New Canaan. As St. Joe's will look to inbound, that one is on number 22 for the Rams, senior captain Lasecki, who usually stays out of foul trouble.
Yeah, that was a pivotal foul for the Rams. None of the bigs got penalized on that. Lasecki, although she is valuable, the bigs are in foul trouble, as you mentioned before, so they have to be careful.
An open jump shot for Stevens, and she splashes it in. She's been really confident from the mid-range tonight. The only consistent shooter for either team is making a big impact spacing-wise for St. Joe's. There's a foul on St. Joe's. As New Canaan will head back to the line, that one is on Christen Rodriguez, who had that wonderful and one bucket in the second quarter and has had some big plays here or there. Sophomore at 5'7", one of the Cadets' bigger players. She's had a solid game. Jane Charlton's at the line right now. One of New Canaan High School's best athletes. Heading, as I mentioned earlier, to Duke to play lacrosse, one of the best girls lacrosse players in the country.
She drills the first one. She's a multi-sport athlete, and all the teachers in the classroom love her, love how athletic she is, how friendly she is. And also, going to Duke, that's pretty impressive.
To say the least, and she's also a big fan of her head coach, Sean Winchester, and she's also a big fan of how this team has come together this season, especially when they were winning a lot of games early on in the year. She mentioned this is one of the closest teams, if not the closest team she's been on. They hang out with each other after games, and their chemistry's never been better. And that's something you need when you hit a losing skid like New Canaan has as of late.
Charleston listed at only 5'9", but she plays much bigger than she actually is. She's listed. She kind of dominates the paints, gets in there, kind of gets points, easy points for the Rams.
Fouls are starting to fly now. That's on Christen Rodriguez, and that's big. One of the Cadets' better players, the sophomore, already has 3 fouls, and she will check out for Becca Keary as they're going to look to preserve her later in this game, as this one looks like it could go down to the wire. I don't want to jinx it, but still just a 4-point game with just over 5 minutes left to go in the third quarter.
Something to watch is Greenwich just defeated Danbury 55-47, so St. Joe's really needs to pull this off if they want to push ahead and keep up with Greenwich and Ridgefield in that FCIAC playoff race.
Very good point, Cortland. This game means a lot more to New Canaan maybe in FCIAC survival standings, as Captain Lasecki pulls for the mid-range jumper, no good. And it looks like she might get fouled, or Lasecki might have committed the foul on that run-in. And they're going to call it on Lasecki, her second foul of the quarter. It was a big game for both teams. Not much more you can say about it. One team has 11 wins, and they're looking to lock up a spot in the FCIAC playoff. Meanwhile, New Canaan, who has not made the FCIAC playoff in either of John Winchester's first 2 years here, is looking to make it there. But they need to win a lock down the stretch. Rodriguez, 3-ball, is no good. Jane Charlton gets the rebound for NC.
That was actually number 22, Rama Johnston there, Ian.
Here is a really interesting fast break opportunity that's slowed down until Johnston gets to the lane and draws an NC foul. She's done a really good job of getting to the lane tonight, Cortland, but not only finishing, but drawing contact. She's just not afraid to bulldoze her way in the New Canaan lineup.
She is one of the reasons that the Rams bigs are in foul trouble, as you see her back in the line. And again, I believe that is actually on the floor there, Ian.
It is an on-the-floor foul, Cortland, so no dice for free throw attempts. That passed a little too far So Jane Charlton gets the steal, slows it down, and to say the least, Coach Lindwall is not happy with St. Joe's right now, as neither team can pull away in the third quarter. Floater from Afshar, and a little help from the rim as it doinks in. Coach Lindwall calls a timeout. Actually, it's not a foul, but the referee let Carney McKiernan know to let the ball fall after the bucket is made. So, just a warning.
Yeah.
Not a foul.
Sometimes the refs are nice and just gives these high school players a little more leeway. And that can just be easily taken for an accident as you're running up and down the court.
Good defense there from Carney McKiernan down low. And it's going to end up being a foul on Becca Keary for St. Joe's.
Coach Lindwall is not too happy that his team is fouling. He would prefer the Rams get fouled, maybe get Charlton or another one of the Rams' pivotal bigs out of the game.
Charlton drives, puts it up, and draws the foul. She'll head to the line for two. She can't get the bucket to go. Ramia Johnston is in some foul trouble. She's got 3 as the Cadets star captain and leading scorer. That's not what you want to hear if you're Coach Lindwall. Charlton heads back to the line where she's been quite a bit in this third quarter. First one is up and no good. New Canaan looking to tie the game up, but the most Charlton can get here is 1 point. .401 left in the third quarter. Charlton sinks the second one, and it's back to a 1-point game. Here's Kaylee Carson working it up for St. Joe's. Getting it to Johnston, number 22, working on New Canaan's number 22, Katin Lasecki. That pass nearly out of bounds. Now back to Kaylee Carson, getting it to Johnston. Pull-up jumper, and it rattles in for Erica Stevens. She's been red hot in this game from the mid-range.
As St. Joe's pushes their lead up to 3 points, 29-26. It is interesting to note that the Rams have not won a game when their opponent scores more than 35 points. So they got to stop the St. Joe's offense just to see if they have a chance, or they push the numbers, see if they can get a win.
Afshar with a couple of nice buckets in the paint on the drive this quarter. She gets another one there on the lay-in. Good pass down low from St. Joe's, but New Canaan stays 30 in the half court. Johnston puts up the floater, and with the right hand, she finishes. As we're seeing a bit of an offensive explosion right now as these teams are finally awake in the middle of the third.
Charlton coming again, flashing at the top of the key for the ball. You've seen the Rams do that all game. And St. Joe's really is just allowing that pass to come up to the top of the key. So Charleston is remaining open with the ball, and she could be the Rams' most dangerous threat.
A rough fall to the floor for Quinn McKiernan and Erica Stevens. Erica Stevens is going to end up being called for the foul. That's her third foul. So at least 4 or 5 St. Joe's players, some of their best players, who are in big foul trouble right now.
As we see number 24, Megan Driscoll, for the Rams, checking in. The sophomore, she's a threat from the outside, is also good with the ball in tough situations. Driscoll
made her first 3, but has missed her last 3. Charlton down low, nearly getting the and one, as Becca Keary checks back into the game and is called for the foul. Charlton yet again at the line. She was 1 for 2 on her last trip.
As we see Coach Winchester talking to Rihanna Afshar, probably talking about how they can get their offense going and stop St. Joe's on defense. He's very adamant during the game, talking to players, kind of using little moments throughout the game, kind of pushing together to show his points.
Well, in his great basketball career, he's been there, done that, as you mentioned, as a former player coach. So whenever he sees something that may be a moment he's lived in his life, he'll obviously tell it to his players as soon as he can. Charlton misses her first free throw. Can he get her second? Can she get her second? The answer is no. Still a 3-point game. St. Joe's leads.
Interesting point. Charlton was the only New Canaan player on that side of the court. New Canaan is trying to stop transition offense from St. Joe's.
It's a little unorthodox, but Coach Winchester's used it plenty this year, and it's worked. Johnston is trapped, gets it out. Here's Carson for 3, and it's in. as the St. Joe's bench is on fire. A confident shot.
She just stepped up and knocked it down like bang, bang.
That's your new catchphrase, I guess.
All right.
Sophomore guard with confidence rattles in the 3, extending the lead to 6. Pull-up jumper for Jane Charlton. It's no good. The spot-up jumper, I should say, as Carson walks it up for St. Joe's. Getting it to Johnston. Driscoll's draped all over. Back to Carson. Now they're going to respect the 3-point shot. Getting it down low on the cut. It's no good. The miss there from Becca Keary, number 24. Emily Haverly will check into the game. And Ramia Johnston checks out. Also checking in for the first time tonight is sophomore Isabel Casucci. Checking out is Keary.
It's hard to notice St. Joe's is in this game. Their bench is up and cheering. The Rams aren't really showing much
life, I guess you should say.
Life, yeah, as St. Joe's continues to push their lead 2-6.
Well, this is a really big game. There's a lot of pressure for these New Canaan girls. In a big moment, they're down 6. It's tense. Afshar's working. Good screen from Charlton. Driving and finishing with numerous St. Joe's defenders in her face. Coach Winchester calls a timeout right after that one. Still a 4-point game. It's going to be a full timeout. New Canaan's lineup's been a bit limited with some foul trouble. Looks like they could be making some substitutions, as Natalie Plosker and Liz DiMarino are most likely going to check into the game for New Canaan. And meanwhile, an update on the boys' game at the end of the 3rd quarter. St. Joe's boys team still leads the New Canaan boys 55-47. And apparently the refs are having some interesting calls over there, according to the New Canaan basketball Twitter. So both basketball teams here in New Canaan have struggled as of late. New Canaan girls have lost 6 of the last 7. The boys team without star Alex Gibbons has lost each of their last 2. So they're looking to reset this week, hopefully getting some wins. A couple of close games both teams are in. But right now the girls are closer than the guys in the battle against St. Joe's.
Around the league, it doesn't have to do with either East Town, but it's a cool accomplishment. Middletown Blue Dragons, Dante Pope has just joined the 1,000-point club, an astonishing achievement, especially in high school basketball.
Well, the last New Canaan player to do that was Tyler Sweeney for the guys. Not sure what the girls. Sweeney now actually doing some commentating work over at Occidental College in California, and both his brothers play on the varsity team for New Canaan. That's obviously a big accomplishment for any player. In the corner, an open 3 look for St. Joe's. Oh, and it's so close to rattling in. It's going to end up being a foul opportunity as Isabel Casucci is going to head to the line for 2 shots. Elizabeth, wow, can't say a word right now. Elizabeth Edzema, the senior guard, missed the corner 3. The rebound came from Casucci, and she got fouled. So this is her first free throw of the game. No good. Izzy Casucci on the miss.
We see her just go up and get clipped from behind, just on the arm. A good call, but the Rams got to be careful of those.
It's a big free throw here. Only up 4 points. Casucci misses. Quinn McKiernan gets the rebound after a little bit of fighting. She's had a big game for New Canaan, rarely taking a seat on the bench, if at all, with just under a minute left in the 3rd quarter. Here's Afshar getting it to Quinn. Good defense right now from St. Joe's, staying out of the paint. A lot of perimeter offense, as you mentioned earlier, Cortland.
Coach Lindwall is very happy about how our girls are playing on defense. You can hear him clapping, being excited.
That's going to be a jump ball as Charlton fought with a couple of St. Joe's players.
Going to stay with New Canaan, though.
Quinn McKiernan inbound with 33.8 ticks left on the clock. Emily Haverly's all over looking to disrupt it. Driscoll's looking to break free. Instead, it's Jane Charlton who gets it and sets up Brianna Afshar here. New Canaan might look for the last shot, but will they stay aggressive? That's the question. Quinn McKiernan gets it down low to Jane Charlton, pivoting. driving and bounce passing it to St. Joe's. Good break up there from Izzy Kasuchi. It will head the other way.
Go ahead.
With 15.7 seconds left in the quarter.
It's interesting to see number 23 for St. Joe's. Rodriguez is out, and Charlton kind of has more freedom in the paint. As number 15, McKenna Hedman is kind of on her, who's not as big as Rodriguez, but still has proven her point against Charlton.
Charlton jumped for the steal there on Elizabeth Adzima, so she got an open opportunity at the lane. New Canaan fouls. It's on Carney McKiernan. That is her 4th foul, so that big foul trouble. So 2 free throw shots here for St. Joe's. They missed each of their last 2 shots at the line from Kasuchi. Captain Olsecki will check in a moment. That free throw is missed. Carney McKiernan runs into Captain Olsecki as they check out of the game. Coach Winchester's breaking down with Carney that she has to get vertical if she wants to defend down low and not get fouled, which she's done quite a lot tonight.
Commonly, a lot of bigs, especially in the high school level, like to go up and over, kind of putting their hands in the way of the shot, which draws a lot of fouls.
Jane Charlton saved it. Brianna Afshar puts it up, and a buzzer-beating foul call is what we're going to get, as Afshar will head to the line with no one disrupting her, as both teams will go back to their sidelines, while number 5 has the peace and quiet to shoot shots from the charity stripe. That is going to be on Kaylee Carson. That is the foul. That is who fouled for St. Joe's, number 10, as Brianna's at the foul line. And whenever she's done shooting, she will get the start of the 4th quarter, I should say. It was a shooting foul, so she'll get 2 free throws.
Yeah, it's always a little bit lonely out there when you have those. It's not technical. Everyone's kind of just sitting there watching, waiting for you to end the quarter. A little more pressure than a normal foul shot.
Here, pin drop in the gym. She gets the second one to go. And they're going to say it's not going to count because her foot was on the line.
That's the second time tonight the Rams have gotten that. Megan Driscoll had that earlier in the game, and now Rihanna Ashar, which kind of is disappointing for the Rams. They could have cut that down to 1 possession as St. Joe's leads 34-30 as we are at the end of the 3rd, entering the 4th. Ian, what do you think is going to happen in the 4th? What's going to come out? Who's going to take it on top?
Well, that's not a win scenario. That's a tough question to answer, Cortland. But St. Joe's has been able to, steady the storm in this 3rd quarter. That was a big test for them. They're one of the FCX best teams. New Canaan's giving it their all right now, and St. Joe's consistently held the lead for most, if not all, that quarter. So if I had to put my money on it, it would be St. Joe's. But New Canaan is right back in it. A couple of, as you would say, bang-bang plays for New Canaan would put them right back in the game and potentially give them a lead. But will that happen, or will it just stay back and forth is the question.
Something to watch is in the 2nd quarter when St. Joe's kind of overtook the lead from the Rams. Veronica Lubas put a lot of pressure up top as soon as the ball crossed midcourt on Rihanna Afshar. It would be interesting to see if she comes back out for St. Joe's, if she puts that same pressure on her.
And again, I mentioned at the half, a big storyline would be the foul trouble on New Canaan's bigs. Carney McKiernan, the senior captain's got 4. We haven't seen much from Liz DiMarino this half. I believe she's got 3 or 4 fouls of her own. Jane Charlton had some early foul trouble. She's been able to calm it down here in the 2nd half, so she's been on the court for the entire 3rd quarter. And at the start of the 4th for New Canaan, down 4 points to St. Joe's in a big FCAC game.
It's interesting to see both Charlton and Rodriguez back in the game, both with foul trouble. It would be interesting to see how that dictates how they play.
Getting it down low to Rodriguez, and the pass is broken up by Lasecki, and Charlton gets it out of the pile to Quinn McKiernan. New Canaan on the break. McKiernan attacks, misses, and gets her own miss on the rebound. Lasecki gets to 9 at the lane by Erica Stevens. And Stevens loses it out of bounds, the sophomore, with a critical mistake after blocking the shot in the lane.
You can see the Rams are in serious play mode here. Not much cheering, much clapping, just trying to get the job done.
Megan Driscoll, the sophomore, gets it inbounded to Rihanna Afshar. Megan Driscoll slows it down.
You're kind of having an off night here, Ian. I listened to you all season. And, of course, when I come on, you have struggled a bit with a little pronunciation, but it's all right.
Quinn McKiernan, deep 2 shot, and it's in. You know what, Cortland? I'll take that as a compliment and the criticism.
Constructive criticism.
There we go. She pulls it to within a 2-point game for New Canaan. Really nice shot there. New Canaan's leading scorer on the night has 9. St. Joe's slowing it down. Looking to keep the lead and make a smart play on offense.
If I'm not mistaken, the Rams have not led since early in the second quarter. They came out scorching hot with an 11-6 run.
Open 3 ball from the corner from Veronica Lubis. That was a big play to re-extend the lead to 5. Megan Driscoll's open for 3, and she airballs. She's now just 1 of 5 from beyond the arc, but they're going to say that's out on St. Joseph's Rahima Johnston.
Coach Winchester was not too happy about that shot choice. Although she was open, there were other players close to the basket, more high percentage shots.
It's an analytics game, Cortland. Afshar looking inbound. Quinn McKiernan's open. Working on Stevens. Trying to get the give and go to Afshar, but she is locked up by, as you mentioned, Veronica Loomis. Another 3-point shot from Megan Driscoll, and she's going to hit the bench after that one. Carney McKiernan's going to check in a moment. Sophomores had a rough night after a good start. Johnston drives left and just buries through the entire New Canaan defense in the paint and gets the bucket.
Constantly, she's been attacking the boards. Constantly. Kind of not even just shooting, just trying to draw fouls and get the New Canaan Bigs out of the game.
New Canaan with a 7-point deficit right now. They were right back in it, 34-32. But St. Joe's is going on a 5-0 run. Just like that, they have a bit of a commanding lead yet again. And looking at the upcoming schedule for both of these teams, there are just around 3 weeks left in the season, about 5 games apiece for both teams. As we get a second look at that 3-point bucket from the corner.
Yeah, and we've talked about all game how pivotal this game is for St. Joe's. As you see the FCX standings, St. Joe's sitting at 7-4, second in the East Division. New Canaan down there at 4-7, near the bottom. But as you see, Staples, Danbury, Stanford, all over there, sitting on top, 10-1 and 8-2 respectively. So it'll be interesting to see how this affects the rankings.
Talk about a big game tonight, or a big game to end the year for New Canaan will be their final game of the year is against FCAC powerhouse Norwalk. So that should be an interesting end of their year. 5:33 and counting left in the fourth quarter. New Canaan needs a bucket now to get back in this game. Quinn McKiernan's looking for a pass, finally finds Jane Charlton. Good move to the lane. And a little bit of contact from Rodriguez. Regardless, Charlton gets it to go.
I do have to say these refs has called a very big game. There's been a lot of contact, but they are letting the girls play, and they are calling some of the fouls that are pivotal.
Johnston spinning on McKiernan. Euro step move. Can't finish in a lane, but fancy footwork and maneuver in there to get the open shot.
Coach John Winchester seems happy with that. McKiernan kind of stuck in there, planted at her feet, expecting a charge, and she made Johnston kind of step around her, which causes for a difficult shot.
Lasecki drives off the pass from Rihanna Afshar, and now will end in a St. Joseph's foul. That's their 9th of the half. They're 1 away from the double bonus.
St. Joe's foul, Kate Rodriguez, that's her 4th.
First half, it was New Canaan with the team fouls. This half, it's St. Joe's. We'll see if Rams can knock down their free throws and get those free, easy points.
Another player in foul trouble for St. Joe's. Kate Rudini had some big plays early on, number 4 for St. Joe's. She'll check out after committing that foul on Lasecki, and checking in is Kaylee Carson, the sophomore guard who hasn't done a lot in this game but did hit a clutch 3-pointer earlier in this one. Lasecki's second free throw is no good, and for the 3rd time tonight, an error on free throw shooting. Another foot over the line call on New Canaan.
See, that call is not very often in any basketball playing. It's kind of easy for players. You see a lot of players lining their front foot up before they shoot, but the Rams have struggled with it tonight.
Johnston, another excellent drive to the rim, and this time she finishes with the left hand. 7-point lead back for St. Joe's. 4:20 left to go in this one. Charlton, hop step, has to put it up, and she can't get it to go. Rebound from Erica Stevens, the sophomore. Richfield trapped in the corner. Loomis able to get it to Johnston. And back to Loomis with Quinn McKiernan on her. Those two are just passing the ball back and forth here, chewing up some clock. And finally to get it to Kaylee Carson.
There's no shot clock here in Connecticut basketball, so that St. Joe's could hold on to the ball, dribble around, burn some clock, and preserve the 7-point lead that they have.
That was a fancy move there from Veronica Loomis, but it ends up being a travel call. She tried the sidestep approach in the corner for 3. So a big opportunity here for New Canaan. They were able to close it to 5 a second ago. Can they do that again here with a good possession offensively?
Update on the boys game. St. Joe's is holding on to a 6-point lead, 66-60 with 2:40 left to play in the fourth quarter.
And Rihanna Afshar makes it a 5-point game here with 3:23 in our fourth quarter. So St. Joe's is making it exciting for the New Canaan Rams, for the guys and gals. Carson to the lane, and one bucket for the ages. She might not be the biggest player on the court, Cortland, but she's had arguably 2 of the biggest buckets of the game.
Only a sophomore, she holds great poise. We saw earlier she just stepped up, knocked down a shot. Now she's Euro-stepping and making that basket and getting a foul shot to go along with it.
We're going to get a second look at that one. That one. It's almost like you knew it was going to go in after she got decked by Carney McKiernan.
And another foul for the Rams big. That will play pivotal in the last few minutes.
Coach Winchester calls a timeout before the free throw on the N1. As you mentioned earlier on in this game, Cortland, New Canaan just seems emotionally drained. It's been a rough run for them as Liz DiMarino checks in. And that bucket just does not help the emotions on the sideline right now.
There's a trend throughout the games as players, as the game goes along, if you start out hot and then get taken over by a team, that really affects a team's morale. And see, St. Joe's, they've come back and they've held this lead. It's been a competitive and good scoring game, competitive at that. And St. Joe's has much more energy because they've taken over the lead instead of losing lead like New Canaan has.
Erica Stevens got whacked in the nose fighting for that rebound with Jane Charlton. Insult to injury, she didn't get the board. Charlton did. Charlton gives the screen here for Rihanna Afshar. Quinn McKiernan with the floater. A much-needed bucket is missed for New Canaan. Rebounded by St. Joe's. Here's Rodriguez, and here is Carson, who's had a big second half of his team. She'll drive, an open lane opportunity. And again, nearly another and one as she draws the foul.
Another foul on Charlton. She kind of throws up her hands in disbelief. That was close to being a charge, but the refs thought otherwise. Kaylee Carson back on the line, but she was just there after the incredible N1 before. Let's see what she does in the first shot.
She makes it, Cortland. It's an 8-point game. St. Joe's biggest lead of the night.
As we see, Charlton again just gets clipped on the side. Her feet were moving according to the refs.
Second one is also good. 2 clutch shots from the sophomore. Looking to put this game away with 2:45 left. New Canaan now up 9. New Canaan now down 9. Liz DiMarino pivoting, getting it to Lasecki. Here's Charlton, who will drive and lose it. Good steal from Johnston. Saucing it up. Pass is nearly picked by DiMarino. And an air ball for St. Joe's as Quinn McKiernan gets the ball. Mini points fast. She stops on a dime and has to travel. She got a little too ahead of herself there.
See, Coach Winchester call for the press coverage, full court, picking them up, try to cause some turnover and some chaos in St. Joe's offense.
Liz DiMoreno checks out of New Canaan and dire need of some shots in the perimeter. Late, Megan Driscoll checks in. Charlton nearly gets the steal, but Johnston recovers. Hitting the floor and fighting for that one.
Charlton showed off her athleticism, going up and just tipping that ball, but it was just out of her reach as it fell just behind her for St. Joe's player to pick it up.
It's called a jump ball, and Liz Adzima lost it for New Canaan, lost it for St. Joe's.
New Canaan rolling the ball across their half, trying to preserve some clock, even though there's only 2 minutes left. Kind of a smart move, if you ask me. Kind of save 4 seconds here might help you in the future.
It's going to head the other way, though, Cortland. You need to score first before you think about the future. New Canaan can't there.
Only a 9-point lead. The Rams have been so close with 2 3-points, cutting it down, but now St. Joe's has just extended it back.
This is probably going to be one of those games, if St. Joe's pulls away with it in the final 2 minutes, where the final score will lie, as New Canaan has been in it throughout and has played a great game, a much-needed boost in a sense when you talk about confidence. But it really would have been nice to pull out with a win in this one. And at the free throw line here is Liz Adzima for St. Joe's. And if she can make it a double-digit lead here, that could put the icing on the cake from the NCHS Gym.
The 5'6" senior has not played much throughout the game, but when she does make impacts on defense and on offense. See, she's back in the line.
With a minute 51 left. In the fourth quarter, she nails it. First double-digit lead for either team tonight. And a game that has been great throughout. Finally, one team breaks, and that one was New Canaan.
We've mentioned the fouls all game, but we see now New Canaan has 18 fouls and St. Joe's has 9. So it'll be interesting to see how the 1-on-1 and double bonus kind of plays a factor into the last final minutes.
Really great shot from the line from Adzima. Getting it in the corner. Megan Driscoll, 3, no good, too strong. Kaylee Carson gets the rebound, and Rihanna Afshar collides with St. Joe's' Liz Adzima. She's probably going to head right back to the line after that one. It's called on Afshar. Afshar thought she was shoved into her, but not the case.
I believe that's Rihanna's second foul on the night, which is good compared to the rest of the Rams to have 3-4 fouls, especially down low on the bigs.
Well, Afshar is one of the Rams' most physical players, and it's a surprise she doesn't get fouled a bit more. But she is willing to put it on the line. Rodriguez with a potential dagger late. Christen Rodriguez, great bucket off the missed free throw from her teammate. Charlton to the lane, no good. Through traffic. Megan Driscoll puts a hand up and nearly picks it off. And New Canaan's going to make a late platoon swap here, putting in a lot of their younger players down 13 points with a minute 25 left. Emma Gibbons, the younger sister of New Canaan boys star Alex Gibbons, is also in the game. The junior, Cameron Murphy, one of the Rams, if not the Rams' best JV player. A junior is in the game. Natalie Plosker, the freshman guard, played a little bit earlier tonight. She's back in the game. And Lucia Cravado, the freshman, played early when the Rams bigs had foul trouble. She's back in the game for New Canaan. As St. Joe's is going to close this one out with a win with a minute 15 remaining. Looking to get something going. Megan Driscoll gets the steal.
It will be interesting to see how the Rams, almost future if I could say, plays here in the final minutes. Although it's a 13-point game, as you see Megan Driscoll drop down a 3, bang, bang, as I like to say.
Cortland, that's getting a little old. That's her second 3 made of the game. She's not been afraid to shoot it, but that has to be a career high in attempts. She has really let it fly tonight. Hasn't had the most productive night, but she's the only Ram that's made a 3.
Like I was saying before, it will be interesting to see how the young players play for the Rams as St. Joe's passes the ball around and then works it inside.
At the miss, and then a foul will be called. Captain McKenna Hedman will head to the line. And it's always interesting when a team names a captain that's not necessarily one of their better players, but maybe just a leader. We saw that last year with the New Canaan boys team, and former NCTV guy Luke Rambuya was a guy who came off the bench, did a little bit of everything. He was a captain. but he wasn't a starter. And same thing here for the Cadets. McKenna Hedman is not a starter for St. Joe's. She's played good off the bench, but maybe she's just a leader in the locker room because she's put up some valuable minutes as she sinks that free throw, but not necessarily getting the most minutes on the team. She extended to an 11-point lead to give St. Joe's 50 on the game.
Yeah, each team needs those role players. You know, you have your superstars, but you need players to fill the gaps to be able to catch and shoot when they need. Just kind of support because one player can't score all the points yet.
Second free throw shot is missed. It's a jump ball. It will head to New Canaan possession. Most likely the last possession of the half, unless New Canaan's really looking to push it, which they might be because everyone's going down the court. 30 seconds left, down 11 points. Here's freshman Natalie Plosker. Showing off the handle, getting it down low, grabs her own miss and kicks it out to Megan Driscoll. 16 seconds remaining. Coach Winchester says keep at it. Gibbons to Cravado. Cravado to Plosker. Plosker drives baseline, puts up the floater, airballs it. Cam Murphy fade away, no good, and that will be your ball game. New Canaan drops its 7th game in the last 8 after starting the year 5-2 and is now 6-9 on the year. Meanwhile, St. Joe's, one of their best years in recent memory. St. Joe's has not won a state championship since 2015. They haven't won an FCAC championship since 2010. But now with 12 wins on the year, they could be poised to make a run potentially in both areas. Looking at the upcoming schedule for both teams, St. Joe's has a big game on Friday. Arch rival Trumbull on the road before playing Fairfield Ludlow at home next Monday and Richfield on the road next Thursday. Meanwhile, New Canaan will be on the road Thursday against Richfield. Meanwhile, us here at NCTV, we will be covering that boys home game live on Thursday up against Brian McMahon. The girls are actually playing Brian McMahon on the road Thursday, not Richfield. They lost to Richfield last week. On Monday, the girls will be playing Darien. We will be live streaming that game here from the New Canaan High School gym, so make sure to tune in for that one. And that's what will wrap up our broadcast today. So as we mentioned, Thursday, tune in for boys up against Brian McMahon. And on next Monday, tune in for the girls up against arch rival Darien. Cortland Parrott, thank you so much for joining me
Thanks
today.
for having me. Thanks for letting me come out here.
My usual producer did a great job alongside me. And let's thank our new producer, Emily Fox. She did a great job for us tonight, and our cameraman, Harry Lee. I've been Ian Nicholas from the rest of the NCTV crew. The final score, 50 St. Joe's, 39 New Canaan. We'll see you Thursday.